Alright, so here is an example of a question that could be on your test in a couple days, weeks. And it's pretty simple. It sounds like a lot because you have to say 7, 8 different angles. But from what we learned in the last video, that's not a very difficult task. So they give you one of the angles. There'd be no way to do it without knowing at least one angle. So they tell you the measure. Remember that M means the measure of angle 2 is 110 degrees. So I'm just going to write 110 degrees right next to it. And that makes sense looking at it because that's a bigger angle than 90. You never use a protractor in this, by the way. You should never get a protractor out and say, hey, that's not 110, because it's probably more than 110. You just don't measure. Pictures always say not drawn to scale, because if we had to draw everything to scale, it'd be a pain in the butt. But it is nice to see that 110 is on the obtuse side. So how do you find the other angles then? Well, the easiest ones are the ones that match angle 2. And we know angle 3 is the same because they're vertical angles, so that's 110. You could give all the reasons. It's not even asking for all the reasons. It's just saying what is the angles. What are the angles? But I'm going to give the reasons as I go through here. Angle 3 and angle 7 are corresponding angles, so they're the same. I could say 7 and 6 are vertical, just like I did for 2 and 3. I could say 2 and 6 are corresponding. Or I could say 3 and 6 are alternate interior angles. But by the time you get to the end, you have all sorts of reasons why 6 is also 110 degrees. The reasons are the tough part. The actual numbers coming up with 110 in the right spots, that's easy to do. Now for the other angles that we didn't do, I know from the last couple videos they're all the same. Whatever I find for 1 or 4 or 5 and 8, I can apply to all of them. So how do I do that? Well, 1 and 2 have to add up to 180 because 1 and 2 are supplementary. They make this straight line here. So off to the side, I just do a little math problem. 180 minus 110 equals 70 degrees. So I know this has to be 70. That means this has to be 70. 5 has to be 70. 8 has to be 70. And that's it. For that kind of problem, that's all you have to do. If you have to give reasons for two angles being the same, then it's a little bit trickier if you remember some vocab. But if this is all you had to do, you should be able to do that no problem. Let's look at another one that's a little more complicated. We have, if you ignore the other transversal, if I were to take out, I can't take the whole thing away here. If I were to take out this transversal here, it would look just like every other problem. We'd have two parallel lines and one transversal. We just added another transversal just to complicate things a little bit. Here they gave us two angles. They said angle 1, this one, is 70, and angle 5 is 50. And there are lots of ways to go about doing this. I'm just going to get you started, and then I want you to finish the rest of the angles on your own. Excuse me. So let's do some of the easier ones here. 1 and 4. We've done this a couple times now. Those are vertical angles, so they're the same. So I know that's 70. And I'm going to do something that we haven't talked about since the first day, which is what happens. I say the first day. There's only been one other day, but since the day you were in class, is the properties of the interior angles of a triangle. So if you notice, this is a big triangle right here. And I have two of the angles. I have 70 and I have 50. If you remember, the three angles of a triangle, the inside angles, have to add up to 180. So the question is, what is this mysterious number that I get to, that I add with 70 and 50 to get to 180? So the first thing I would do is just add these together. 70 and 50, that gives you 120, plus something is 180. And you can do 180 minus 120, or just use common sense. We get 60 degrees. So 60 degrees is the missing angle here. So you can do 60 degrees there. And that's all I'm going to give you. You can get the rest using all sorts of methods. Just keep in mind those vocab words.